Good morning. Welcome to Farrell Swim Tech. My name is John Farrell. This is the broadcast that is done specifically for Team Zoot on their Facebook page, but it is also recorded to be posted elsewhere. My other sites that I post this on is Rumble. We have Farrell Swim Tech on Rumble, so if you are a Rumble amigo, you are more than welcome to go and check out Farrell Swim Tech on Rumble. Also, at Farrell Swim Tech on YouTube. Those are the two places where this is reposted. Also, check out Instagram, Farrell Swim Tech on Instagram, as well as email me at farrellswimtech@gmail.com. Just remember, this is a live show that is done at about 5:15, 5:20 in the morning Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays. I used to do this in the evenings when a lot more people were able to join. But I'm at the point now where I have 3 small children. My youngest is 3, my oldest is 10, and bedtime is fun. So because of that, I had to shift the show into the mornings, and same great content, just a very much so earlier time slot. I am prone to yawning in the morning. It is impulsive. I cannot stop it. So if I do yawn, I do profusely apologize. I literally roll out of bed, throw a shirt on, as you could tell by my glorious hairdo, and get out here and start the live stream so I'll have enough time to discuss fantastic swimming stuffs with you. This is the live show where I take my 15 years of competition experience plus another 12 plus years as a private technique coach, and I help you get faster at swimming. Remember, as a live show, if you are watching this, you are free to comment. If you are watching this after the broadcast has ended as a video on demand, feel free to leave a comment. There was a very kind comment on the preview post from yesterday, and thank you very much for the kind words. Just one more item of business before we talk about that. Get into our topic here. I still do in-person lessons, swim technique lessons, as well as virtual lessons. In person, I do them at my local high school. So send me an email, farrellswimtech@gmail.com. I'll get you all the information on that. I'm also willing to travel if it's on a Saturday and it actually fits in my schedule. I'm willing to travel to basically anywhere, LA County, most parts of San Bernardino County, unless you're live all the way out in border, the state line, technically Nevada, but whatever. Nobody really lives at state line though. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress. Northern, most of San Diego County, most of Orange County, LA County, and San Bernardino County, and very small parts of Ventura County. If you want a lesson, we can arrange something, farrellswimtech@gmail.com, as well as virtual lessons if you want me to look over your stroke and give you some stroke technique, just like kind of what you see here. Check out my YouTube and my Rumble. You're going to see a lot of examples of that, farrellswimtech@gmail.com. And just a reminder of my background, I was an All-American in high school. I swam for Brigham Young University for 4 years. Currently, I swim sub 120 per minute for my hundreds, but that's with doing a swim workout once every month. I don't get to work out that much anymore, but I can still go that fast. So quick shout out to all the women who competed at Kona over the past weekend. I was up in Big Bear, California with my wife. And big shout out to a personal friend of mine, Carly Peterson, for her first Ironman World Championship race. She qualified and she was able to race there. She's a friend of mine, good friend of mine I swam with at BYU. Good to see that she did very well in the swim. She was top 30 of her age group in the swim, and then fell back on the bike in the run like we all knew, like all swimmers do. But she qualified for Kona, and she finished at Kona. So congratulations, Carly. All right, so getting into our topic today, we're going to talk about breathing and swimming. So breathing and swimming is kind of a weird thing, because when we talk about breathing, we're just, you in cycling and running, you dial in your breathing to your cadence. You get something that's nice and shallow. Well, not shallow, but like rhythmic. You want a rhythmic breathing. In swimming, things get a lot more complicated because over half of the time, your face is in a medium you legitimately cannot breathe in. If you breathe that in, it's quite honestly deadly, okay? Now, let me stress this fact right now, okay? Over the past year, we have had a number of deaths within triathlon, and it almost always happens on the swim leg, okay? We're not going to discuss the individual races, the circumstances, but in general, it's always drownings. I can't stress enough, if you are a beginner or novice swimmer and you're looking to do an open water event, you have to have your breathing nailed. You need to understand how to breathe. There's a couple things that I'm going to talk about during this episode that literally can save your life. I cannot stress this enough, because with proper breathing technique, you're going to be a lot more stress-free in the water. And not having proper breathing technique just really compounds the stress problem while swimming, especially in open water. So practice these things in the pool, please. If you are a beginner, or especially if you're 2 minutes or slower. If you're at 2 minutes or slower, you must spend time on your breath technique. Sorry, being early in the morning, my bleh. Okay, so seriousness out of the way. Let's seriously talk about breathing. Okay, so when we discuss breathing, there's two major components of it. It's how to breathe and when to breathe, okay? How to breathe, what we need to understand is that we want to make our swim breathing as comparable to running and cycling breathing as we possibly can. In other words, we want to have a good or when we're cycling or running. So in swimming, how do we do that? We need to understand one core concept, and that is we breathe in when our face is out of the water, and we breathe out while our face is in the water. Okay? That's a pretty simple concept. But I see a lot of people, they hold their breath when their face is in the water. They turn their head to the side to take their breath, and they go, they breathe out and then in while their face is out of the water. Two major problems with this. Number one, you artificially create a hyperventilation environment. And I mean, just doing those 3 quick breaths, my brain's already fuzzy. I mean, just try it. Just try 3 to 4 breaths. Like, please don't do more, because you will seriously get dizzy. That's just exacerbating any stress and or hyperventilation that you might be feeling. Your heart's going to start racing like crazy. It's just going to be a bad time. So take some time and learn how to take a breath and then blow bubbles. Typically I've only worked with older kids, but now over the past year or so, I've been working with really small children, teaching them how to actually swim freestyle. And there's a couple kids where I literally have to have them with a kickboard. I have them on their side, just mouth out of the water, just getting used to the concept of breathing out. And then I say bubbles, and then they put their face in the water. Just this concept that you can breathe out underwater is foreign to some people, especially people that don't have a heavy background in swimming, okay? So here's a great drill to do when you're just at the beginning of workout, okay? You finish your warm-up, you're hanging out on the wall. Recommend doing this either in the shallow end where you can actually stand very comfortably, or over at the stairs. If you have stairs, most pools have stairs going into the pool. So sit on the lowest step, put your face in the water, blow bubbles. Rotate so your mouth is out of the water. Breathe in, rotate back in, blow bubbles. Side, breathe in. And nice big breaths too. We don't want short breaths. We want nice, breathe in. Hold up. I forgot to do something with my camera. Sometimes my camera's focus goes all nutball on me. All right. So breathe in, bubbles. All right. So just do that maybe, 10 times just to get used to this. This is a foreign concept. Okay. Now, so now that we understand breathing out and breathing in, we now need to get into kind of the actual breath. All right. Because breathing in swimming is very strange because we have to literally rotate our body about 90 degrees in order to make the breath happen. Okay. Professionals can get away with about 89, 88 degrees. But most people, you want to rock that 90 degree mouth straight out to the side. So why is this such a hard concept to understand? It is a hard concept to understand, and learning how to properly breathe is tough because, number one, we're in a virtually zero gravity environment. When we're in a zero gravity environment, things tend to get exaggerated, where we think we're doing something, but because of our body's perception of what we're doing completely thrown off by this floaty, magical liquid that we're in, we tend to over-exaggerate things. And because of that, sometimes we think we're on the side when in reality our face is all the way up here. Okay, so a couple key points of breathing technique. Number one, 90-degree rotation. You only need to get about 90 degrees. There is a special property of water. I used to know it, and I want to say it's the Bernoulli's effect of water. It's funny. I designed swimming pools, yet fluid theory is not exactly my strong suit. I'm much better at structures. But when you put your face to the side and you're going through the water will actually curve down. So you can get away with a little bit less rotation. That's why I said professionals go about 89, 88 degrees instead of 90 degrees because they know exactly how far they need to rotate just to get that mouth out of the water. So with regards to us as triathletes, we just need to get our mouths out of the water. Oh. There's a yawn attack. Sorry. So one of the number one things to understand is your face doesn't need to be shot up to the sky in order to take a breath. You just need to get it over to the side, okay? A good rule of thumb is just kind of feel like your shoulder is just in the up position. This is 90-degree shoulder rotation. This is about I'd say 80 degree shoulder rotation. Okay, so you only need to be about right here. I'll show a video of me doing 100 freestyle in a little bit to demonstrate this, but we want to be right about here and then extend forward. Okay, so right about here is where you're going to be at the apex of your breath. Okay, so that is the kind of the midpoint of your breath, and then as that shoulder comes over, you're going to put your face back in the water. Another thing is, how do we rotate our face to breathe? Okay, a couple more key concepts here with the breath stroke. Number one, we don't want to rotate our neck to the side. Okay, we don't want to be swimming and then have, especially with people with poor rotation, people that don't really get that shoulder up and out to the side, whether it's straight arm recovery or bent elbow recovery. If you're here and you kind of bring your arms over the water or come up like this, when they take a breath, they wind up rotating the neck a lot. I very much so advise against this because you're going to have a bad time. You have a lot of muscles and ligaments and stuff in your neck. And if you're not careful, if you keep rotating your neck, you're going to make them super sore. And once your neck goes sore, it hurts. It hurts a lot. I used to go, my swim practices at BYU for 2 hours would be anywhere between 7,000 to 10,000 yards. There would be some practices I got a little sloppy with my breathing technique and my neck would just Charlie horse. It hurts like the dickens. As far as I'm aware, there's no like injury that I'd be worried about. It just hurts like crazy and you're going to have a really bad neck cramp for the next day or so. So start working on there. Here's a really good drill to do, and it's really easy to do this just while you're seating. We're going to talk about this with regards to rotation, but here's a good kind of introduction to this concept of shoulder rotation, all right? So you can either be standing up or sitting in a swivel chair like I am. So when we're swimming, we actually want our face, so pretend you're at the bottom of the pool looking up at me and I'm swimming, okay? So taking out the arms, if you watch, you're going to see me do this. So my face is down in the water, head pretty still, shoulders are rotating. So what happens is if I'm breathing to my right, okay, I'm breathing to my right, we're going to be here. So as I'm finishing the pull with my right arm, I'm going to start the rotation. And when I get about here, I'm going to lock my head into my shoulders. As I push down, I'm going to rotate the head to the side. My arm is finished the pull all the way down here. See my hand? So I'm on my side. My head is in line with my shoulders. Elbows coming up. I'm taking my breath. And as it's put into the water, the shoulder is going to roll back down. And as I take my next pull, neck unlocks. And then the shoulders rotate around. I'm sorry, that was very weird. Shoulders then rotate around the head. So if I'm taking out the arms, I'm finishing the pull. I lock my head in with my shoulders, rotate the head, take the breath, come back to center, unlock the neck, and then the shoulders rotate around the neck. Okay? So a great beginner, like if this really is a hard concept for you, something that, oh shoot, I stripped my screw on that. Wonderful. Something to do is take your arms, elbows to the side, finger index here, okay? Rotate your lower body, and then just have your neck in line, because you keep this here to lock your neck in. Rotate to the side, rotate back forward. Rotate to the side, rotate back forward. Okay, make sure that head is in alignment. That head doesn't move, but your shoulders are moving. Okay, if you breathe to the opposite side, you can do it this way too. This is a great way to learn how to breathe to the opposite side, actually. We'll get to bilateral breathing later. But to the side, back forward, to the side, back forward. Okay, so that's the rotation of the breath. Now, how do we induce that rotation? Okay, now this is the part where most people run into trouble. The reason why is people tend to not really think about this step. Okay, now obviously, no, I'm not making fun of you for not thinking while you're swimming, but some people just haven't really given it a lot of thought. How do I want to rotate my body to the side? What a lot of people tend to do is, especially ones that do what I call the half moon pull, it's where you extend your arm and then you push down and then continuously have your arm extended, making essentially a semicircle with your arm, okay? There's a lot of people that do this, and what winds up happening is as they're pushing down, when they're extending, so I'm breathing to my right is towards the camera here. So as they push down, they wind up actually taking a breath here, okay? Just think about it here, okay? So I'm here. I don't have good extension with my arm. I'm pushing down, and as I'm pushing down, I'm rotating the body. This poses two major problems. Number one, this obliterates your stroke power. Pushing down with the long arm, just like I talked about back in the polling stream, this long arm focuses on your shoulders, terrible for power. Number two, this really, really makes your drag coefficient a whole lot bigger. This just creates a bigger, much bigger area. You're still trying to push through the water, but you're not generating a lot of acceleration. So you wind up being like a gigantic barge moving through the water. So then finally what winds up happening, which is pertinent to this discussion, is that your face finally gets out of the water about halfway through the pole, okay? If it's halfway through the pole, you have about half of the time to get that breath, okay? Because when that arm is out of the water, that's when you're going to put your face back in the water. Now, the big problem with this is your breath is literally cut in half. You don't have the time to get, because it's here and then you're here. So you do one of two things. Number one, short breath. Talked about this earlier, induces hyperventilation, super bad idea. Or you create a dead spot in order to be able to finish your stroke, because you have to hold that in order to take a breath, all right? Here's the better way to do it. Your takeaway from this is we reach to breathe. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, and then I'll show a practical version of this from my swim video. So as we're coming over, okay, I breathe to my right, so my left hand is in the air. I'm about here with the pole, okay? As I'm reaching forward, I am elongating, and I'm on my side, okay? All right, now this looks really funky because I'm sitting. It'll make more sense when you watch it. I'm on my side. I am now starting my breath. Okay, so I'm exaggerating this point. Okay, I'm exaggerating this point to show you, okay, this is where you are going to be on your side taking your breath. And yeah, this is really funky because I'm sitting down. So I'm here, and then I roll back down. Take to the side, back down. To the side, back down. Yeah, I am definitely planning on getting a lavalier mic. I think next year I need to get a lavalier mic in order to better do this. Also, the treadmill is going to be gone. We're getting rid of the old girl. So hopefully I should have a nicer area to film. So anyway, those are upgrades looking at for next year. So anyway, so with regards to breath technique, let's go to some film. I'm going to go back to my Old Faithful. Where did my swim videos go? I have my swim videos that used to be real easy to grab. Sorry about this. Swim items. There we go. Okay, so. Oh, yeah. No. My pulling video is going to be super good for this. All right, pause. Okay. Okay, desktop audio is muted. Good. Let me grab my chat window back. Remember, as I'm getting this video set up real quick, just remember this is a live show. If you have any comments whatsoever, please hit them up in the chat. I've been live streaming since 2017. I am very used to doing this, even though I should have had this all set up beforehand. Analysis. Here we go. All right. So I am pulling with paddles. So this was some promo material that I shot for Zoot back when they brought out their kickboard and pull buoy. So for 1. All right. So let me stop it here real quick. Arm is extended out front. Arm is extended out back. Face is on the side. Shoulder rotation, minimal neck rotation. Okay? So then as I'm here, I am still taking my breath. My arm has instigated the pull. My other arm is out of the water halfway through the recovery. And then here, let's go back. So I breathe every 4 strokes. Okay, so here I am reaching forward. My head has started the rotation. Okay, my head has rotated to the side. And there, disgustingly, thank you, particle effects. I have finished the pull. I have finished or before, the frame before. I have finished the rotation. 3, 4, 1. Okay. This is exactly how you want to be. Okay, so let's just watch for breathe 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we'll get it on the way back. Okay, so right here, ears in the water, face is coming down. A cue that I've been working with my little swimmers is if you breathe to your right, always keep your left ear in the water. Okay, most kids, they lift their face out of the water to breathe. For us as triathletes, if we're swimming in open water, obviously we do want to do our sighting. We want to pop our head out of the water, take our sight, and then take our breath, and then put it back down. I have my old college roommate. We were chatting about it when I was down in Arizona a couple weeks ago. I was actually going to do a race update. Let's get through this video, and then I'll actually do a quick race update. Yours truly won another swim event, a swim leg. But reaching forward and then reaching backwards. And then face is just barely out of the water. You'll see it on my next breath. 3, 4, 1. Okay? So the water, you can see the water is actually curving down my face. Face hole just above the water. Taking the breath in. Long, elongated stroke. Shoulders out of the water. Finishing the pull. 3, 4, 1. Okay, so face is out of the water. Arm is in the recovery phase. Arm has already started the pull phase, okay? So what we want to avoid is we want to avoid dead spots in our stroke because we don't have enough time to take our breath. If we work on reaching and then putting our arm back over, that's going to work out super good for us. So what are some things that we can do to really start drilling down and focusing in on this? Doing the rotation drill that I showed a little bit ago is going to be a great start, but realistically, you're going to get a lot more gains of doing stuff in the water. So one drill that I very much so recommend is you see, here's the thing. I don't know all the names of the drills. We have what we called them, but I don't know if that's more the official name of what people call these drills. Basically, you want to do the drill where you get on your side and you kick about 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a stroke back on your side. And what you're going to do with this drill is you're going to emphasize reach and rotate, all right? This is a super good drill to do with fins, okay? Especially if you have a really weak kick, you're going to want to pop the fins on for this one. Just remember, this drill with the fins, you are focusing on reach and rotate to the side. Stroke, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Focus on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And your fins want to be stacked, Okay, you want to stack them like a 1980s hockey goalie. You want to stack those pads, stack those legs. Okay, stack the legs on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down, and keep doing that for at least 100. Okay, or 425s. Do that about 425s. Then you want to do 4 more 25s. 1, 2, down. 1, 2, down. 1, 2, down. 1, 2. Okay. So what this is going to do is this is going to really work to get you on your side, get you comfortable with this reach and rotation concept. Okay. And then you're going to want to do 425s where you are hyper focused on the rotation. All right. Just understand, we're getting into the off season now, a major off season for a lot of people. There's still a couple big races coming up. Like I know Ironman Indian Wells / La Quinta is coming up within the next couple months, within the next month or so. There's a couple local events like Bayshore, which I'm not going to be able to do. But use this time to really don't focus too much on yards and focus a lot more on technique and craft your workouts solely around certain aspects of your technique. Okay. Like if I was going to work on my breathing, which honestly at this point I don't really need to. But if I was going to work on my technique, what I would do, or if I have a swimmer that I'm working with their technique, what I would do is I would have them do the drill and then they would do 50s. Okay. 50s, very, very, you're going to do 50s with swim, very slow cadence. Okay. This is more of learning how to control our bodies while we're swimming. Okay. So we want to go reach down. Okay. So we're going to make the kick go a little bit faster. So we're going to do 50s, or if you're blessed enough to have a nice long 50 meter pool, you're just going to go 150, A50. Okay. You're going to go A50 and you're just going to take it nice and easy. Focus on that reach to rotate, put your face back in the water, reach to rotate, face back in the water. Nice, very slow cadence. Okay. So we're going to over exaggerate this idea of getting on our side to take the breath. Then you want to start increasing the cadence. Do a couple more 50s and or 50. Excuse me. Spend some time upping the cadence and just really focus on that idea of reaching. And because when you reach, it's actually easy to start incorporating the proper pull path where you grab that brick. You know, we talked about grabbing the brick, pushing it down. Reach, grab the brick, push down. Reach, grab the brick, push down. Reach, grab the brick, push down. Especially if you're wearing fins, you're going to get a nice big boost from the fins. I have evolved on fins over the past couple of years. I will be openly honest. I used to be like anti-fins because I felt them as a crutch. But if you're using them to kind of boost your legs so you can take a lot of load off your shoulders, so you can actually focus more on the pulling aspect. So either use fins or a pull buoy for this. We want to float our body as much as possible. Quite honestly, if you need to, use 2 pull buoys or a kickboard. Pulling with a kickboard is delicious. I actually pull with a kickboard all the time. I really like it. We'll talk about that when we talk about rotation. That's a good time. Trying to think of other drills. Yeah, that's basically going to be your best bet. Just kind of this rotation drill on land, doing the rotations with holding your chin in place. Then the 6 kicks on the side, take a stroke, 6 kicks on your side, nice long. And then the very, very exaggerated slow cadence stroke. I think those are all going to be your best bets. So take a small interlude here before we get into the last major point of discussion, which is going to be breathing patterns. That's a nice lengthy discussion. So anyway, wanted to update you on my own racing calendar, which has been obliterated. So I went to Mesa, Arizona to participate in the Mesa Sprint Tri a couple weekends ago. It's always a good time for me. I traveled to Mesa with my whole family. I got a lot of friends that live down in that area, so we all get together. Mostly my BYU swammer buddies. I also got to hang out with one of the guys I lived with while I was on my church mission. He was playing in a band at a little place called The Monastery, and it's this cool outdoor venue. We bought some pizza and burgers for the kids, and they just had a great time playing in the sand volleyball court they got there, and all my swimmer buddies came over. We just had a great time. So with the race, I took the swim title for the second year in a row, and it was decisive this year. I beat my old college roommate for the first time. This is the first time I ever beat my college roommate in a race. He always destroyed me back in college. We both swam distance. He was always number one, number two. I was a very, very distant third place. So I finally beat him. I beat him by a whole 50. In an Olympic-sized pool. I beat him by a whole 50 in a 400 freestyle, and then he beat the guy that he started after by at least half a pool length. So I had a very decisive victory in a Mesa Sprint Tri, and then I got past 3/4 of the way into the first bike loop. No flat tires this year. I did a 4-minute improvement. My run kind of fell apart, though. I could have taken at least another 2 to 3 minutes off my run, but I developed blisters on my arches, so that kind of got obliterated my run. So then my last race of the year was supposed to be Bayshore, located in Long Beach, California. But I realized I booked the race and I was already committed to go to St. George to visit the new temple. Temple for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that they're doing an open house for. Yeah, so I had to cancel that. So no more races for me this year. Next race is going to be Pasadena Reverse Tri in March. Got to defend my swim title there yet again. So that's kind of my own personal stuff. So I'm just training right now. Yay! So that's my race calendar. Okay. Back to business. So let's talk about the breathing patterns. Now, breathing patterns are kind of a highly contested area of swimming, especially with intellectuals. There's the intellectual side, and then there's the practical side. And there's a lot of stuff that's been evolving over the years with regards to oxygenation levels. Basically, we've started to get a lot more data in terms of what happens when we do certain breathing patterns. There's a whole wing of swimming that's dedicated to this idea of hypoxic training, where you spend less time taking breaths to help your body be able to absorb and deal with carbon dioxide better, use your lactic acid as a fuel source. There's a huge wing of swimming that is dedicated to that. I honestly don't know enough about that. That's why I don't discuss that on the stream. So there's the hypoxic guys, and people who do hypoxic, it sucks. It is not fun. Holding your breath while swimming is terrible. In terms of, it's just not fun. The benefits of it are highly debated, and I'm not even going to get into it at this time. I simply don't know enough about the body chemistry, the biology stuff of it. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible resource on that. Remember, I'm not a student of swimming. I am just a guy that has done swimming a lot, and I know how I do it to go fast, and that's what I'm teaching you. There's a lot of stuff to research. I cannot recommend anything because I don't know about it. So that's that. So then there's also a major wing of the swim party. There's a guy that I do a lot of commentary and giving my thoughts in the Lionel Sanders Discord. It's not his official Discord anymore. It's more of a triathlon Discord that kind of used to be associated with Lionel Sanders. Long story. But anyway, so there's another guy whose basic philosophy is breathe all the time. Yes, breathe all time. Breathe time all. Yes, breathe. Breathe, yes, breathe. So he believes in breathing every single freaking stroke. In other words, pick one side, always take a breath to the side, always, 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 always. I fall somewhere in between, okay? Because more oxygen is better, yes. However, there's some caveats to this item, okay? So if we breathe every single stroke, so I breathe to my right, so breathe down, breathe down, breathe down, okay? Number one, if you have improper breath technique and you're rotating your neck to breathe, that's just going to make your life terrible. You're going to really start Charlie horsing your neck super quick. It's going to be painful. You're not going to like yourself. And worst case scenario, you have to actually breathe to the opposite side in order to make the neck cramp stop hurting. That's from personal experience, okay? That's what I used to have to do during practices when my neck would just scream at me. I'd have to take breaths to the opposite side. So there's that. Number two, you have massive power losses during your stroke. Because if you're just like I talked about, if you're pushing your hand down, you're using a lot of the wrong muscles. Sorry, yawn attack. And then when we push down, not only that, you're putting a lot more pressure on your shoulders. So if you're prone to shoulder problems, this is probably something that's exacerbating it as well. Especially if it's the shoulder. So if you breathe to your right, if it's your left shoulder that kind of nags you, that's because you're using your shoulder a lot when you have the long lever arm of your stroke, because your arm is seriously just out here and you're using your shoulder primarily to move your arm through the water. It's going to create more shoulder issues. So when you breathe every single time, you're just kind of compounding and exacerbating all of these issues, because a lot of times you wind up taking breaths when you don't really need to take breaths, okay? Let me explain. So for me personally, there's two different sides of me with breathing. There's the working out side of breathing, and then there's the competition side of breathing, okay? The working out side of breathing, I like to breathe every 3 strokes or bilateral breathe, or breathe every 4, okay? Those are the two that I tend to do the most. Reason why is because I like to have my face in the water for a couple strokes before I take a breath. 2, 3, 4, breathe. 2, 3, 4, breathe. Okay? So I can get a nice long exhale while I'm breathing, and then just kind of shut my mouth, hold the breath whenever I'm done. And then I take a good breath, and then down, 4, 3, 4, breathe. Just like you saw here. Let's go back. Let's actually go back to this swim video, and we'll just watch it again. So as I'm here, take a breath, 2, 3, 4, breath, 2. So this is a 4-stroke pattern breath, okay? So I take a breath. So breathe, 2, 3, 4, breathe, 2, 3, 4, breathe, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So with this 4-stroke breath stroke pattern, what I kind of tend to see is that I'm a lot more relaxed in the water, where I'm able to more control my exhale, and I am totally ready to take my next breath. What I have found, if I purposefully breathe every stroke, is that I have to slow my cadence down in order to be able to take that breath, exhale, take the breath, exhale, take the breath, exhale. Okay? So some people may look at this and they're going to be like, okay, I don't. No, let's go back to full camera. So lots of people tend to think that they need to breathe every stroke. You kind of don't have to. All right. So breathing every 4 is very comfortable for me. All right. So then I try to breathe every 3 so I can balance out the muscles and especially stuff on my neck. So let's talk about this whole concept of bilateral breathing or breathing to both sides. Okay, so when we talk about bilateral breathing, we called it as breathing every other. So breathing every 3 strokes. So breathe to the right, 2, 3, breathe to the left, 2, 3, right, 2, 3, left, 2, 3. Okay. Do you have to bilateral breathe? No. No, you do not. You do not need to bilateral breathe. That is not important. Not important to your swim career. It doesn't make you an expert level swimmer. Honestly, you can go your whole swim career and not really learn how to breathe to the opposite side. However, I recommend it. I do recommend it because this adds another piece to your toolkit, okay? So you want to have, and there's a whole stream I talk about toolkits. These are things that aren't necessarily important, in terms of the nuts and bolts of your stroke, but these are really good things to have in your back pocket just in case you need them, all right? So, situation. You breathe to your right. You swim in a race where your buoys are to the left. Okay? You need to be able to kind of keep tabs on the buoys. Okay? Situation. You're in your race. You got someone on your hip. You got someone on your left hip, you breathe to the right. Okay? Take a sneak peek, peek, swim, breathe to your left, check that person, get back down. Okay? So those are 2 very legitimate reasons why you should take breaths to your left every once in a while. So learning how to do it, basically the same stuff you did for breathing on your natural side, do it to the opposite. I'm sorry, I got a yawn coming out. Oh, yeah. Shoot, I thought my little small energy shot I took was going to get me through this broadcast. Bleh. Sorry. I train at this time of the morning. So I have a little energy powder that I take just to kind of get my body moving in the morning. I thought that was going to carry me through this, but apparently not. So breathing every other is not required, but it's a good idea. Do this, learn this when you need like a recovery workout. Okay. Like if you're in a heavy period of training and you have a recovery workout where you're just like, I'm swimming like 1,000 yards and calling it a day. I'm swimming a mile easy and just calling it a day. Use that time to work on stuff like this, okay? Breathing to your opposite side when you're trying to crunch out, 5 100s at race pace, not a good idea. Or, especially if you're doing like 10 100s, 15 100s at race pace, don't bother. Don't bother with this. Start learning stuff like this when you're doing nice and easy workouts. Okay, so we talked about breathing every stroke. And then I'm sorry. So for me and race day. Okay, so let's talk about race day. Race day, you need to breathe as often as you need to. It's very simple. You need a breath, you take a breath. Okay? So typically when I race, I like to start with breathing every 4 or breathing every 3. Reason for this allows me to set my pace. This allows me to get over the adrenaline of the race starting. This basically makes me, control exactly how I want to start my race. Okay. So breathe 2, 3, 4, breathe 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this allows me to get out there. I only do it for a couple 100 yards. I don't do it for too long. Usually my max is about 100 to 200 yards. That gets me out there, gets me moving, gets me in the spot that I want to. And then typically I'll go to usually a hybrid stroke. Excuse me. So my hybrid which is kind of the next item, is so there are hybrid breathing patterns where it isn't breathing every, it's not necessarily breathing every 4. It's not breathing every stroke. It's a hybrid of both, okay? So usually my breath pattern is breathe 2, breathe 2, 4, breathe, or 6, 7, 8, okay? 3 breaths, then a 4 pattern, okay? 3 breaths, then a 4 pattern. Breathe, 3 breaths, 4 pattern. So this is an 8 count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So you breathe on 1 and then you finish on 8. So that's an 8 count breath pattern that I personally employ a lot. Okay, I did this during distance events back in college. It worked like a charm. So basically, this allows you to take a couple breaths and then just kind of have a couple seconds where you're just kind of recentering your face on the water. All right. So this kind of helps deal with a couple of the different issues that I've talked about when you breathe every stroke. If you're whipping your head back and forth, especially if you have issues of getting nauseous while swimming in open water, you really want to look at your head positioning. Have someone film you and really kind of drill down and figure out what's going on with your head positioning while you swim. And this kind of goes back to what I talked about briefly at the beginning of the stream, where you really want to be careful and you want to prepare well for the swim, especially if this is your race coming up. I know we always, this time of year, we got a lot of brand new Team Zooters. We got a lot of people that are really beginner at triathlon, especially all y'alls that are just getting into swimming really seriously for the first time. Nausea while swimming is no joke. I actually had a personal experience with this. A couple years ago, I did a in-person lesson with a fella that flew into town and contacted me. He flew in from like Colorado or Utah. I can't remember which one. But he contacted me personally before he flew down, and basically he went through so if you want to get in touch with me, feralswimtech@gmail.com. I'm sorry, shameless plug. Or talk to your team captains, and your captains can talk to my captains in the SoCal region, and then they can contact me. I've had that happen before a couple times. So I did a lesson with him, and since we were at Bayshore in open water, I decided, well, I'm also going to spend some time, and I'm going to do a open water swim practice. So I was going to swim 2,000 yards. So I got through, cause it's about 1,000 yard loop, is this particular course that I swim down in, Bayshore, California. And I got about a quarter of the way into my second loop and I got hit with vertigo. Now my dad has vertigo. I don't have vertigo. My head started spinning like this. My whole world got rocked, and I honestly blame dehydration. I think I got dehydrated because I did a whole hour swim lesson, and then I decided to do it, and I didn't really drink enough, so I'm pretty certain I got dehydrated. But literally, my head was rotating this way, not this way. This way. And it was the most disorienting thing that had ever happened to me while I'm swimming. And so it got to the point where I had my safety buoy on me. And the number one thing you need to understand, if you start panicking in open water and you're wearing a wetsuit, you got to understand that wetsuit will float you. Okay. These Zoot wetsuits, they are super good. I wear the Wiki, which has some of the thinner areas. It'll still float me. Okay. I don't float. I don't float. I can't float. I don't know why, but my body's makeup is one to where I cannot float very well. Like, I cannot float on my back to save my life. That plagued me from when I was in Boy Scouts. I still can't float. In a wetsuit, I can float. This literally could possibly save your life, okay? So the one thing you need to understand is if you get in trouble and you're in open water, number one, always wear your safety buoy. They say it's not there as a life-saving device, but you blow it up full of air, it's a good substitute. They're not meant to be life-saving devices. Disclaimer. They are not intended to be life-saving devices. However, they do help a lot. So if you find yourself where you're hyperventilating, I've also had a panic attack while swimming. It's the only time I have ever quit a swim race my entire swimming career. I was like 12 years old swimming at Brigham Young University's summer swim camp. They had a little fake meet at the end. I entered myself in the 500 freestyle. I had a massive panic attack halfway through, and I had to quit the race because I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened up. I literally could not get oxygen into my lungs. I freaked out like no other. So I've had both. I have had massive dizzy attack, vertigo / dizzy attack, and I have had panic attacks. You need to honestly have a plan if those happen. This literally can save your life. For when I got the vertigo symptoms, I was close enough to the shore. I just swam very easy breaststroke, kept my head out of the water, swam easy breaststroke back to the shore, walked back, called it a day. So sometimes your body just isn't ready for it. So you just need to have a plan, safely get yourself out of the situation, or swim with a buddy. I was not swimming with a buddy, but I knew I was close enough to the shore where if anything were to happen, I'd swim 10, 20 yards, and I'm back to where I can actually walk on the bottom. So yeah. So just understand that these things can happen, and these are actually, heavily related to breathing. So have some kind of worst case scenario things all set up in your brain. This is kind of one of those toolkit things. Understand what happens if something goes horrendously wrong. And those two things are probably the worst things that could possibly happen. So if you're in a pool and that happens, just hug the lane line. Hug the lane line. If you really, really can't get back to the wall, just kind of crawl yourself over on the lane line, or if you're on a wall, just learn how to bear crawl. Just grab the wall and then just inch yourself back over to the ladder, get yourself out of the pool, relax, take a breath, get yourself, don't fight it. If you're really having some respiratory problems, or dizziness, nausea issues, don't fight it too much. Okay. There's sometimes where you may have fatigue setting in and you kind of have a little bit of lactic acid overload. There are some times when you actually want to fight through it, but if you're really just struggling and you're having real issues, get yourself out of the pool, get yourself out of the water, get yourself back on the deck, get back to dry land. You're going to be a lot better off for it, Okay, so hybrid breath pattern, and what to do in emergency situations. Okay, I think that basically sums everything up. So what are your thoughts on breathing? What breathing patterns do you particularly like? Leave a comment with your stuff so other people that can watch can can learn from other people here at Zoot. Excuse me. So thank you everyone that's tuned in to this broadcast. Remember, I do this for free. I am just an affiliate member. Zoot does not pay me to do this. So kind words to the Team Zoot overlords would be fantastic. Big shout out to Mark Goddard. I pitched this idea to him back in about 2021, and he totally greenlit me being able to do this. I really like doing this. Full disclosure, I work with Zoot on swim products and stuff like that. They contact me every once in a while with questions and kind of to get my take on certain things. So yeah, they got a couple new products that are in the works. I don't do like testing and stuff, but but it's more of the conceptual stuff. So it's been wonderful to work with Zoot. I'm excited to be on for 2024. This is honestly has to be one of the coolest teams in triathlon. I really enjoy being with them. I'm super stoked to be able to be with you for another year, and excited to actually do these streams in the morning. I know I kind of get a little verbose at the end of these streams, but usually like 99% of people don't watch all the way until the end. Okay, let's be honest. Hey, Steven, what up? Thank you for the comment. It's not showing the whole thing. My comment box is not doing it. One of those new swimmers taking it all in. Yeah, that's how you roll. Just understand, I may be an expert swimmer, but my bike and run are garbage. Like I said, for Mesa, I totally had like a couple minute lead going into the bike. And the guy had to have been pushing like 350 watts, 300 plus watts. They blew by me like I was standing still. It wasn't even funny. I mean, I feel like those Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoons where the Roadrunner just jams past Wile E. Coyotes. That's how I feel on the bike. But yeah, so thank you for the comment, Steven. Swimming, I know I got a little bit into the doom and gloom on this particular episode, but it's kind of appropriate to the conversation. Lack of breathing while swimming is not a good thing. So I have to warn people about that. But swimming is a lot of fun, especially when you start really grooving with the swim and you're just able to just kind of go like these crazy people that can just run like 5-minute miles or something, like 5.5, 6, like people that can just groove at 6-minute miles and faster for running just boggle my mind. I'm just like, holy crap, I could do like 1 mile at 6.5 minutes and then I'm like dead. So how people can just groove at 6.5 minute miles for a full marathon just blows my mind. Yep. So we're going to be wrapping things up here. So just a final plug for myself, feralswimtech@gmail.com. Any questions about swimming, email me there. I am more than happy to answer your questions. Also, virtual stroke technique review requests and in-person swim lesson requests. Feral Swim Tech at Instagram. I just posted a video of myself doing a 25 freestyle last night. Basically, there's a dude I saw on the internet that claimed he swam an 11.8 25 meter freestyle, and I'm just like, nope, you did not do that. You did not do that, especially when you're only swimming 2,500 yards a workout. No, you're not swimming an 11.8. That's going to translate into about a 23 50 freestyle. That's gonna translate into sub 50 second 100 freestyle. There's no way that guy is swimming a sub 50 25 100 freestyle. That's just not going to happen. No. I'm sorry. If I'm swimming a 13.1 for a 25 yard, there is no way that guy is swimming 11.8 for a 25 meter, which meters are longer than yards. No, I'm sorry. No, that's not going to happen. Anyway, we're going to have some fun in the Lionel Sanders Discord today talking about that. YouTube, all of these streams go on YouTube as well as Rumble. I upload these to YouTube and Rumble. So check me out there if you want to see all of the swim technique videos that I've done so far. I can guarantee you I have already covered something that is plaguing you. And just remember, you want me to review your stroke, send me some video, send me an email. I'll tell you everything that you need to do in order to do that. So So thank you once again for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep training, everyone. And until later, my friends, good night, Isaiah Norris. Wherever you are, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.